The Silvertown Emergency Housing Project was meant to provide safe shelter to hundreds of fire victims, but years later, no brick has been laid, and families are still vulnerable to reoccurring fires and floods.
It's called an emergency housing program, but there was no sense of emergency at all in dealing with the building and the actual development of the units on that particular site. And yet again, people find themselves in fire disasters, same way they found themselves in 2018. We need to see action, and action requires that bricks are on the ground and people must have roof over their heads, and people can no longer live in pipeline projects as having been promised by the Western Cape government.
With the recent shack fire in the informal settlement, for some, the pain is all too familiar. Many, like Nobom Twaise, have lost everything, not once, but twice.
I understand a little too basilindile because banibala kakuhle sine 5 years full sihleli silindile. Ngoku attenda kwami ke ngoku meeting mna kumele ndibuye back kubo ndizobacacisela into kokubana yenzeka kanjani, but ayibi mandi xa sipha emeetingini because siphela sitshintshisela nangamazwi because nabo beva ipain yotshelwa akho mandi utshelwa ungaphumi nayo kwanto.
The Provincial Department of Infrastructure says unforeseen circumstances, including COVID-19 disruptions, have contributed to the delays. However, they insist the project remains on track to be completed by 2027.
The delays are unfortunate, but certainly not within our own span of control. Look, at this stage, there are no bricks that have been laid. But again, go back to what I said earlier. Any development needs infrastructure. At this point in time, because it's a phased project, the first phase of the project requires us to do all the civil works. That includes roads, that includes your drainage, includes your pavements for those particular roads. At this point in time, we're at 80% completion in terms of the civil work infrastructure. Once that is concluded, we can then start with the top structure installation.
As winter takes hold, fear continues to mount. Shack fires are not the only threat, but heavy rains and flooding now pose an additional risk to vulnerable households.
It's been 4 years back. Siqale ungenelwa ngamanzi ne. Sinamanzi asingenelayo apha kusingenelwa siyadada abantwana kwabhlungu. Uthi uvuka ebhedini ufuka ibhedi iflower nawe iyaflower ibhedi nawe, so sihleli apha ngoku sitshelwe sifikele leyo tshelwa ke ngoku into yaqala leyo sehlela lento yotshelwa, but ke into esehlelayo apha umlilo waqala endaweni uyakuphindelela awuyeki asinandawo yokuya ibikhona indlela siyacela makhe kuvela uncedo ke simuvuweni apha asidimanda izindlu ngokukhawuleza, just a better place than lesikuyo.
For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Nasiphi Same in Khayelitsha.